So things are about to get wild in the markets and with AMC stock. And why I say AMC stock specifically is because AMC is down about 5% today. We're heading towards our 50-day moving average where we should find support, but depending on what happens with earnings and what the overall market trend is, things could get a whole lot better or a whole lot worse in the short term. So we're going to go over all of the data that you guys need to know and talk about really what I expect to happen over the next couple of days, because we have seen a lot of new information come out that should be addressed. So let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, what we woke up with today, if you guys have not seen the last video, is that Walmart slashed their profit outlook, saying people are spending more money on necessities like fuel and food and not as much on clothes, electronics, things that people don't really need. This is further confirming what I was essentially talking about a couple months ago, over the past 6 to 12 months, why I'm so bearish on stocks like Apple, right? Because a lot of that demand was pushed up and a lot of people bought those products, and that's why these companies did great over the last 2 years. But going ahead into the future, how good are they really going to do? Well, that's a big question, and I think the answer is not so good. So that is what really helped push the markets down. Walmart is down 8% today because of that. They actually lifted their full year outlook though, because people are going to Walmart more for their lower prices, but they're buying products that don't have as high of profit margins, right? So that's important, but what we have been getting is a lot of indications that people are still opting to spend money on things like vacations, things like going out to do things like going to movies. That is not going away, and I think around August 4th, when we get earnings next week for AMC, that will be confirmed to us, and I think that's when AMC could have its own little time to shine, call it that, and the markets might actually realize that you probably want to be in these travel stocks, probably not your large Apples or Amazons or Microsofts, these stocks that have really benefited over the last 2 years. So I think here in the short term, we could be subject to whatever happens in the markets. Obviously today you have Microsoft and Google earnings, but really coming by next week, there will be a sense of, optimism around AMC, around travel stocks and the like. So that is that, and that's what really caused this market downturn that we are seeing today, down about 1.23% on the S&P 500. And if you do look at the data for AMC stock, it is very encouraging as far as the option activity. We are seeing 15 orders totaling $1.74 million, positive order value of 73%. So by and large, a lot of bullish option activity. Take a look at this order that is coming through, a January 20th, 2023 $20 call worth about $527,000. So it looks like hedge funds are opting to go very bullish as far as their option positioning with AMC stock, and I think that is no surprise. We've seen a lot of very bullish options over the past couple of days, couple of trading days, we'll call it, with that $1.3 million option order for January 2023. You're seeing multiple $100,000 orders for January 2023, as well as further out. Some of them are, with less time to expiration, but you're really seeing a lot of focus around that January 20th, 2023 option expiration, and I think you'll see more bullish positioning as we do head into earnings, as the markets do realize that you want to be in some of these travel stocks. Now, what the short interest looks like for the day, we are currently sitting at 18.81%, $1.45 billion worth of short positions on AMC stock. Free flow out on loan, 27.66%. Shares out on loan, 142.58 million. Days to cover, 3.4. Cost borrow at 9.91 and 100% share utilization. You're seeing the cost borrow average at 10.09%. The cost borrow max at 13.06%. Cost borrow minimum at a negative 0.52%. Obviously, that's not the case. You're not getting paid to take out shares of AMC stock to sell them short. That's simply just not going to happen. Now, what we can really expect today as far as earnings, Alphabet, better known as Google, Microsoft, and Visa, these are going to be the ones, in my personal opinion, that will move the needle for the broader markets and for AMC stock. And, you know, just based off of what we're seeing today, AMC down 5%. If these earnings are bad, well, the broad markets are going to take a very big hit. And I'm kind of concerned, honestly, heading into this earnings season just because of the rally that we have seen so far off of the bottom. I mean, you're up still like 8%. A little bit more than 8% from the low that we've seen at 362.17 on the S&P 500. So if earnings are bad, you know, we're not going to hold up this 50-day moving average, and you're going to fall under that probably in a pretty substantial way. You guys can see we're holding support here today at the 50-day moving average. That's currently sitting at $390.29. We're currently at $390.68 on the S&P. So I think that will be important, and that will be a key level to watch. If we get any downside tomorrow, like at all, you're going to break under that, and that will be a new break of trend. And specifically, if Apple, Amazon earnings are bad on Thursday, that's not going to be good. If we go into a technical recession on Thursday, also not going to be good. And the biggest part of all, if the Fed does not indicate they're going to slow down raising rates, if they don't indicate a pause is coming, if they just continue to hammer home this point, they need to get inflation down, pretty much give us the same old, well, I think a lot of focus will be on earnings and this earnings recession that we are likely in, because we already know we're expecting a negative 1.6% GDP print for Thursday. If earnings are bad and we're in a technical recession at the same time the Fed is raising rates, well, that is like the perfect disaster for new lows for the S&P 500. So I don't think AMC would be immune to that, but I do think we could get our own narrative here of you might want to buy travel stocks, and it wouldn't surprise me to see travel stocks actually outperform, you know, around that time. Now, we will get Southwest Airlines on Thursday in pre-market. You will get Hertz as well, two travel stocks, call it that, and that's probably going to move AMC a little bit more rather than not. So there is that information. As far as the option activity, we're currently looking at about 111,000 calls that are out of the money for this Friday, about 8,500 calls that are currently in the money. On the put side, about 15,000 puts that are in the money and 36,000 puts that are out of the money. So all in all there, I mean, you're still seeing less than 10% of the total calls that are in the money. So that would imply to me that there's still a decent amount of dry powder on the sidelines. If you can get a move up, market makers are going to have to start to hedge out some of those short positions. Now, as far as overall positioning for this week in AMC stock, July 29th, you have seen a big flip. The calls open interest is 21.34%. The puts sitting at 78.66%. You've seen a big switch. What we just seen last week, you know, was the complete opposite. A lot more calls, a lot less put. So you're seeing that, but you're also getting, like I said, this very bullish option activity over the last couple of days, and I think that is pretty interesting. We'll want to see how AMC stock does perform. Now, as far as the option activity on the S&P 500, the calls for open interest sitting at about 31.31%, the puts at about 68.69% for this Friday. And for the day, you're looking at a positive order value of 85%, 2,872 orders totaling $389.57 million. So it looks pretty bullish either way you chop it for the option activity on the S&P 500 and for AMC over the last couple of days, but still that overall positioning for this Friday is pretty bearish, and I think there's quite a good reason to be bullish or bearish. Really, there's a good case for both sides here, but I think, you know, earnings are probably not going to be good. Probably a good reason to be bearish. Yield curve is still inverted 25 basis points, so that is obviously not a good sign, and we'll see what the Fed says on that. I don't expect anything too crazy as far as a Fed pivot, and I do think up until AMC earnings, long story short, we could be subject to whatever the markets do, but I think after earnings we're going to get a lot of new information potentially, you know, stakes in new companies, we might get some kind of NFT dividend or just normal dividend. That's what Adam Aron has alluded to, and I think that would be a very bullish thing for the overall share price of AMC. So that is going to be all for this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys found value out of the video. Comment down below, what is your thoughts on AMC stock? What do you think is going to happen over the next couple of trading days? How are you positioning in your portfolio? Get your free stocks with Webull, Moomoo, and Public down below in the description. And if you guys want to come trade with me live in real time, also link down below in the description. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.